Joining me now is Olivia Troy. She previously served as the Homeland Security Advisor, Counterterror Advisor, and Senior Advisor to former Vice President Mike Pence. Olivia, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us. I want to start with you with respect to the things that you heard this week at the committee and what you believe they've achieved so far. Where do you think we are in letting Americans understand what happened on January 6th and Donald Trump and his team's culpability in it?
I think this week, some of the footage was just absolutely chilling and jarring. And I think it was important to lay out the narrative of how long before January 6th, the events of January 6th, this was planned. It was premeditated. The fact that the narrative of he won the election started even before the actual election took place, right? There were memos shown from October 31st and conversations had. There was a memo showed that Greg Jacob, the Vice President Pence's general counsel at the time, wrote on election night saying, do not get ahead of this, do not claim victory if Donald Trump does. Fast forward a few months later, and the vice president's life is put in danger because of this behavior by this insane man. I mean, the whole thing is just so frightening. And like you said, this isn't over. There are election deniers running across the country right now, and this legacy still lives on.
Olivia, during the hearing, Representative Zoe Lofgren said that VP Pence's team was worried about Trump falsely claiming victory on election night, something you were just speaking about. Let's listen to what she said.
Now, the vice president's staff was concerned with what Donald Trump might do on election night. They took steps to ensure that Mr. Pence would not echo a false victory announcement from President Trump. Mr. Jacob drafted a memo to Mr. Short, which the Select Committee got from the National Archives. The memo was sent on November 3rd, Election Day, and advised it is essential that the vice president not be perceived by the public as having decided questions concerning disputed electoral votes prior to the full development of all relevant facts.
You were speaking to this. What does this tell you about the difference in the mindset between those advising Donald Trump and those advising Mike Pence, and why that difference?
Yeah, it's significant that Greg Jacob felt a need to put it in writing, right? That is interesting within itself, is what was going on behind the scenes at the White House that they felt so strongly that they were going to put this in writing. And again, remind the vice president, do not take action on this. Make sure that you wait. Do not follow the rule of law, follow the legality of this, and allow the process. And that tells me that all of them were aware of what Trump's planning was and the fact that there were staff discussing this probably behind the scenes. And they were concerned about how this was going to play out. And look, to me, this is just incredibly, it just exemplifies everything that we have seen in the lead up to January 6th and how dangerous it is that this lie continued on still, and it continues still today.
You and I talk about this a lot. What do these hearings do? What do they achieve? The people who thought they knew what happened on January 6th only come out with a clearer view of the hearings put meat on the bones. But for those who don't, for those who think, there was already impeachment, why are we doing these hearings? They're political. Donald Trump keeps talking about it being a witch hunt. Does this change any minds, and does it change anything that happens in the future, in your opinion?
I think what's important about these hearings is that they're operating on facts. They're showing evidence and factual situations that happened, and we're hearing it from people that were there firsthand. We're hearing it from Republican witnesses who worked in the Trump administration, who witnessed these events, who were inside at the time, who were impacted by these events along the way. I think that's significant. I think it's important for the American people to really understand the extent of this and how damaging it was, and also just sort of how significant it was, because this shouldn't be forgotten. Although it's in the past, it's been a while since January 6th, and I know people are the voters apparently are fatigued by this and to a certain extent. But it is important to remember how this started and how it played out, because as I said, these midterms are coming up. Some of these people who are still continuing this narrative out there will likely be elected, and I worry about what's happening in the future in terms of our elections when some of these people are in office.
Olivia, good to see you this morning. Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate it. Olivia Troy is a former senior advisor to former Vice President Mike Pence.